It is imperative that everybody stay inside and do not drive out on the roads. We have hundreds of calls of power lines down, we have trees down, and we are out there actively making the city and the streets safe.
At least 9 people killed and more than 3 million are without power right now in Florida after Hurricane Milton came ashore as a Category 3 storm. The eye first came ashore around 8:30 last night near Siesta Key. That's a barrier island near Sarasota. And this afternoon, Milton has moved across Florida and back into the Atlantic. It's weakened to a Category 1 hurricane, and it was a close call for a driver. Yesterday in DeLand, Florida, a police officer was behind another driver when his dash cam video captured the moment a tree came crashing down onto the car. Now, luckily, the driver was not hurt. And take a look at this. The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office facility destroyed after a tornado touchdown. This is one of several tornadoes reported as a result of Hurricane Milton, and so much damage across so many parts of Florida.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I'm going to remember about this particular hurricane. I think maybe top of the list will be the tornado outbreak.
Yeah.
126 tornado warnings. We'll see how many actual tornadoes occurred, Karen. That is the second most tornado warnings issued in one state in one day.
Wow.
Impressive, unfortunately. I want to show you the radar sequence of how this all transpired yesterday. At about this time, we started to get some of those tornado warnings. So I have the radar out of Tampa, and I have it overlaid on top of power outages, and you'll see this thing just explode here. But by this time yesterday, we had supercell tornadic thunderstorms, and then we had the roughest part, this outer band. When it came ashore, man, that thing was cranking out tornadoes here, and you'll see the explosion of power outages. And there goes the eye that it went through across the state. We lost Tampa radar for a couple of hours, and now that eye is out over the center. But these are all tornado reports, some of them with the same tornado. So again, we'll get the exact amount here in the days ahead when they start doing some surveys. 3.4 million customers without power at this hour. It's offshore right now. Tropics should settle down for a little bit. We'll have more on our local weather coming up in just a few minutes.
Sean, and rescue efforts are now underway in Florida after Hurricane Milton made landfall last night. Miranda Parnell from our sister station in Tampa Bay is in Clearwater, where several people have been pulled from the water.
And we are in Clearwater, just off of US 19 at an apartment complex where emergency responders have been doing water rescues all morning long. Now just look at how much water is in the parking lot here behind me. The police chief of Clearwater tells me that the water's actually been receding a bit throughout the morning, so this is actually lower than it was before. They say that they get into some of these apartments and the water is neck deep. Now, as you can see right here on this rescue boat, you have all different types of people that are being picked up. You have families that have been needing to be rescued. We've seen people who have ambulatory issues, an older woman that had a wheelchair earlier this morning. And so they said that throughout the night they were getting 911 calls from folks from this apartment complex. It's an area that has been known to flood, but people who live here tell me they've never seen it flood like this before. But you know, with those wind gusts throughout the night, emergency responders weren't able to make it out to the apartment complex because it was simply too dangerous. Now, residents tell me that they believe that after a couple hours, emergency responders were able to make it out here and start doing these rescues. But as you can see, folks kind of on their balconies, on the stairwells, still waiting to get picked up by these crews. And they say that they plan to go to each unit in the apartment complex to make sure that there are no people that have been left behind in this rescue mission here. They say they are working with several other teams to make this happen, and they want to make sure that everyone is accounted for and safe. In Clearwater, Miranda Parnell, 10 Tampa Bay.
Miranda, thank you. This afternoon, Indiana Task Force 1 is headed toward Tampa to help with operations there. The 84-member team moved to southern Georgia earlier this week to await the call to help with Milton. The team first deployed about 2 weeks ago after the devastation from Hurricane Helene. This time in Georgia wasn't only spent resting, they were preparing for what comes next.
With it being as strong as it is, we believe that there's probably going to be a need for us to be airlifted in. So we did a bunch of aircraft safety training today, and kind of prepped our equipment, went through and made sure everything was replenished from the last 2 weeks being between here and North Carolina. So the guys are ready to go.
And Task Force 1 leader Jay Settergren calls his team resilient after their exhaustive deployment to North Carolina. The team says its main focus is on search and rescue efforts and supporting local emergency crews on the ground. And you can help those impacted by these storms. Just text the word Red Cross to the number on your screen to make a $10 donation. Now that $10 allows the American Red Cross Indiana region to prepare for and respond to these disasters. Well, right now, IMPD is investigating a person shot in the popular Broad Ripple Bar District. We know one person was shot near Guilford and Westfield. First responders arrived on scene to find that person awake and breathing. That victim was taken to a hospital and is currently stable. Now, police are asking anyone with information on what may have led up to the shooting to come forward.
Trying to solve this is next to impossible without having the public's help. And even if it's something slight, well, I didn't really see much. Well, you don't know until you call us and let us know.
And police say they did pull a few people to the side for questioning. We are working to learn if any of those people have been detained. Indiana State Police are investigating a deadly police shooting in White County. Now, this all started when sheriff's deputies responded to a disturbance at a liquor store in Monon. That's about 30 miles north of Lafayette. The person had left by the time they got there at 10:30 Tuesday night. State police say the deputies learned the person was at a nearby home. Now, deputies say the suspect came at them with a knife, causing at least one of them to shoot him. This afternoon, we are working to find out that suspect's name. Wow, caught on camera, you see a car crashing into the front door at AE Ammo in Greenwood. Now, this happened on Saturday, and police say this was two people in a stolen car. There's no word so far on any arrests. The burglary is just one of the many cases we've seen over the past few months where a car is used to break into a gun store. In this case, AE Ammo just sells ammo and not guns. Now, those burglars also weren't able to get in. 13 News talked with the ATF, who tells us this is becoming a familiar story.
Juveniles know that there's value, that they can make quick money off the guns. And then clearly, without a doubt, we've absolutely seen where adult, criminal groups are employing juveniles because they know that the juvenile system is much more lenient.
And police are also looking for 3 suspects after a stolen car crashed into a pawn shop yesterday morning on the south side. First Cash Pawn reports an AR-15 style rifle was stolen. No word on any arrests in those cases. New developments in a 13 Investigate story this afternoon. The arrest of a former daycare director in Anderson. Last month, we introduced you to a mom who reported her son, who has autism, was mistreated at the YMCA Early Learning Child Care Facility at Madison Park. Court records say he was left alone in a classroom and a bathroom and had his diaper duct taped. Yesterday, the daycare director, Star Conley, pleaded not guilty to reckless supervision of a child by a care provider, plus failure to report child abuse or neglect. The boy's teacher, Destiny Villadares, is also charged with reckless supervision. The YMCA told 13 Investigates it fired both women. Well, now to a push to raise awareness about domestic violence and the resources available for people who need them. Last night, people gathered at Christ Cathedral Church on Monument Circle to honor those who lost their lives this year to domestic violence. It's an annual event in October when it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. According to the Domestic Violence Prevention Network, 1 in 3 Hoosiers have experienced domestic violence.
A lot of those cases go unreported for a variety of reasons. And so if we keep talking about it, it makes people more willing to report or speak out when they are experiencing domestic violence, and hopefully more prevention efforts can be happening as well.
And there are purple lights on the AES building downtown to recognize Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You'll see those purple lights through tomorrow night. This afternoon, we are digging in to see if charges have been filed against a 14-year-old accused of stealing a car and causing a serious crash. The teen is facing preliminary charges of robbery and auto theft. This crash happened in Muncie on Tuesday near South Madison and East 18th. Investigators say the 14-year-old carjacked a person and then crashed into another driver. At last check, a woman is in critical condition. 2 other minors were also in the car at the time of the crash.